Hi and welcome to the git-python development stream. Actually, I just got an email that could be of interest, which is coming in right now. Because I asked the Travis guys if I can actually use the multi-operating system feature that they promised on their site, but unfortunately Python is not yet supported. I see. I'll probably just watch this guy and see when this changes. All right. Fine. Moving swiftly on to git-python, which is currently in a state where I think, well, all these, this one is kind of in progress, and all the related submodule issues here, they kind of have to do, or they're kind of rooted in the fact that git-python currently does not properly handle its the submodule style that changed in the Git binary. In other words, I'm still using the old way of handling submodules, which basically recursively checks out repositories, but now there's this new style that places them in the parent repository and just links them up with a .git file that points to that repository. So in theory, it should be easy enough to handle this because git-python can do git files, and it's really just about how I set this up. And it would probably be a nice thing if there would be some sort of backward compatibility mode, so that I will check the Git version, and if it's an older Git version, I still use the old mode to set this up, and if it's a new Git version, I use the new mode. So I guess this is worth a new issue that we sign right away. In previous Git versions, it was common to check out submodules right at the spot in the tree of their parent repository. In later Git versions, though, this is submodules are placed basically outside of the tree. Submodule repositories, let's call it like this, of the working tree. This probably has advantages because otherwise you always kind of delete your checkout, and then you have to fetch the entire thing again, which takes time. So I guess this is why they want to protect submodules a bit more and just check them out at a specific location. Makes total sense to me, and I definitely think we should support this. But git-python should choose the mode, the submodule, depending on the Python version, and thus remain backwards compatible. I think that's quite important too, and shouldn't be too difficult to achieve. Well, too difficult, it's certainly some work, but I think it's manageable. All right. Should we acknowledge this? Sure thing. Could also set it to in progress, but yeah, I kind of just assign myself if I'm on it. And this in progress is, you know, if you leave it for a day or if you finish work at night, you know, then you have to kind of change it from in progress to not in progress anymore. And all this is kind of overkill. Speaking of which, I mean, if I'm thinking like that, why do I even have this label? So let's make it easier. This is never used. Feedback, I think it's important. Rejected, it's a bit evil. But, you know, why not? Maybe it's less evil if I change the color to something like, yeah, it's maybe less aggressive now. And feature, yeah, bug and feature. You know, I tend to use bug trackers more as a problem tracker. So bug, and you know, if you have a feature and a bug, you kind of, people tend to talk about symptoms and they don't really tell what their problem is. So even a bug is a problem. So listen, git-python crashes if I try that, you know, state your problem and then it's being fixed. Or listen, git-python can't do what Git can and would be nice to have, you know, that's suddenly a feature, even though the person just stated a problem. So I kind of prefer this. So let's simplify. Let's not do this. And every issue by default is a problem here. Critical, yes. Enhancement, it's like, you know, feature requests. I'm using this myself. So let's keep it as I'm still using it. Critical, I like that. Q&A, yeah, why not? And there we go. That looks much better already. And I still didn't even start working on anything. But that changes right now. All right, let's get to work. First of all, when did it happen? When did the new submodule get new submodule something? Yeah, well, probably it. When did they change it? How do I ask for this? How do I ask Google? And why is this German? Why is this German? I am confused. Oh, they have translations of this book. Awesome. Still, I can't select English. Thank you very much. Awesome. Anyway, I don't think that's the right one. Let's find it. Yeah, git, probably git, and then it's in git modules. So maybe I find some sort of changelog. Somewhere. Yeah. Okay. Git submodule changelog. So maybe that will find it for me. Oh, come on. What's new in Git 1.9? That could be something. Submodule, more robust Git submodule for each. Well, that's not it. Maybe I should check the Git source code to figure that out. Git modules. Ah, come on. Let's check. Maybe I'm misspelling this here. Oh yeah, and I should probably get to my master branch here. So I mean this is a submodule for me. So this is actually located in the parent repository modules. Yeah, so it is .git modules, and then you have the name of the check, or the name of the submodule, kind of. Google, why can't you help me? Am I not using you correctly? You know what? let's go, let's dig in. Okay, it's not that obvious. Probably they're building the path. Modules. Diff, dir, name hash, dir, submodules, yeah. Submodule C. Yeah, so I guess submodule C should at some point build this path. Probably it's also full of references here. Good modules, fine. Do I find this? No. Path, update path, remove path, calculate, parse, fetch, recursive. Check out, check for new submodule commits. I want to see where they built this path. But maybe a log on the current file will already help. But maybe it's also too much. I can search this though, right? Modules. Maybe. No, it doesn't have it. Nope. Path. Update the path entry in the Git modules, removed submodules. Blah, blah, blah. And how old is that? 1 year, 5 months ago, 3 years, 4 years. Okay. So is it out of order here? It's not sorted by time though. That's a bit odd that it kind of mixes up the sort order there. Well, okay, I just look for the changelogs here. Git stm changelog, come on. Show me. Oh, taking too long. Git wiki release notes. Okay, release notes it is. Sorry, release notes. Git stm, and then I want submodule in there. Do it. Maybe it's 1.7. Fixes 1.6. I think 1.7 is a good version that I still use, so should be 1.8 maybe. Possibly 0.9, because I have to know when they introduced this in order to make this branching work, so that git-python can deal with both ways. Okay, maybe they even mention, they don't even mention it because they say, well, it's our internal thing how we do it. All right. No release notes for 1.9. Can I access this guy? 2.0. I mean, it's definitely not new in 2.0 because I am here on Git version 1.9 or something. 1.9.3, and that already has it. That's for sure. I would love to find the spot where they built this path, because that's the file that I can then track basically for figuring out when it changed, on which revision this changed. Oh man. Huh. The nested submodules. Are removing concrete submodule. Well, check submodules and Git files. It's kind of poking around in a haystack to find that needle. That's how it looks like to me. Submodule uses Git file. I think that is something I wanna look for. uses git file, because wherever that happened, they might have implemented it the way or the new way, basically. Look, it runs itself recursively as a command. Amazing. I mean, as a process. Wow. Anyhow, what happened? I mean, this file I checked already. The log current file. Uses git file. No. Read git file gently. I want to have all these change logs, please. So why does it not work anymore? Release notes. I think 1.8 could be the one who introduced it, but I don't see it. So maybe it's 1.9. You know, maybe it's 1.9. Let's try that. It is TM, because that makes sense. I've got 1.9.2, and that's kind of when I noticed it. Release notes 1.9. No, like that. Git-stm.com docs. Can I kind of version 1.12? Oh, that's nice. But I'm not so interested in the clone manual. I'm more interested in the change log. But that's already not such a bad resource. That's for sure. So tell me, release notes. Here we go. Hey, that's it. Cool. Git submodule for each. Okay. Well, that's something. Some changes here, but they don't say that they put it somewhere else now. Damn it. Really? I'm a bit disappointed that they don't say when this happened. Damn it. I need to know. Shit, how do I find out? I guess I have to build. You know what? I will just build Git in different versions here, and then I will just try it myself. Fine. Don't make it easy on me, you know. Git source. Oh, come on. Like so. We are on master. Let's get 1.8 and build it. Have a make file here? Probably. Make, do I have a make help? Nope. Well, then go ahead. Fire away. Just do it. Make configure. There we go. See, I call that intuition. I had no idea, to be honest. J6 and go for it. Thank you. So good, it's done. And here we have a git command which hopefully just works, version 1.8. So I do hope that this git command also uses the git submodule that is located within its own directory, so that I don't kind of fool myself, but I will figure that one out. So let's have a parent directory here, and let's have a subdirectory which checks out this guy as a submodule, my git-python repository. Git submodule add, I think it wants the URL first, and then it wants the path, git-python. All right, now we just have a look at it, and that seems to be a file that points to git modules git-python. All right. So that is apparently 1.8. So I'm thinking 1.7 definitely does it the old way. Okay, let's keep that in mind. Parent 1.8.0 new. Check out v1.7.0. Make configure. Well, maybe a clean first. Make configure. Configure's up to date? If you say so. Let's run it and make J6 to get git 1.7. Yeah, I could also give it a J8, but as I'm streaming here, I want to leave some free cores to do all the compression and whatnot. Good. Good version says 1.7. Not that I would trust it, but now's the time to figure out which version introduced the new style thing. So git init, submodule add, git python. Let me see. That also looks like a git dir, and I'm not quite sure that it actually runs its internal implementation here, or its actual implementation. Can I configure with a prefix so that I can actually install this thing like locally? Figure help, because I think that's what I should do. Bin dir, install dir, prefix, somewhere it must be. Prefix, spell it correctly. Prefix, install architecture prefix. So user local is the default, but we don't want that. I'd prefer just install 1.7 here. Configure, prefix, yeah, let's use the full path. Install 1.7.0. Thanks. And now we say make install J6. Go ahead. Yeah, we just reconfigured, so we basically lost our actual output. Now I would expect this thing to work. Oh no. Exists but is not a directory? What? Ha! I'm sorry. I didn't know I had case sensitivity on here. Alright, let's do this again, one more time. Let's call it local install. Fine. One more time. Fortunately, it compiles relatively quick, I must say. Thanks to the power of C and probably some sort of optimizations they did. I mean, it's super professional C programs that do Python, Python probably too, but that do Git. So I'd expect them to kind of set up their project nicely. And I guess that's what they did. should time that next time. All right, let's go into local install 1.7. And I probably have to change my path to truly use this version, because it still looks in the path to do this. Well, fine. Let's get a subshell here. And let's make sure we only have this one in the path. So does it contain everything? No. I think lib_exec is also something you want to have in the path then. Lib_exec git core and bin. That should be good enough. I don't know about lib though, maybe. Yeah, I will just see. So good version should just be 1.7 now. From this shell, parent parent 1.7. I don't trust it. Ah, damn it! Of course, I killed my entire path. I can do nothing in this shell. Can I just get out of here? No. Oh yeah, I've got nothing. Except for the standard shell commands. Well, that was efficient, but I shall need no more. 1.7 again. Ah, okay. I think I shall need some more. I just add the submodule here, why not? Should I? Should I? Yeah, let's do this. Git submodule add. This guy, nope. This guy as git-python. And base name set, sure, okay, I probably have to set up my path better. Okay, I shall do so. So let's put this in front and then we just use the regular path. So that should already be enough. Good. Let's restart that one. Oops. Git init submodule add. Aha, good. Because the I think yeah, awesome. Because that's a new style repository that has a Git file. And I think 1.7 can't handle Git files yet. So let's have a repository that doesn't use Git files. And try again. Which one would that be? Yeah, you know what? I just cloned from HTTPS. Who cares? I just want to see. I really just want to see how that looks like. And my guess will be that in 1.7 it's still really your return error forbidden while accessing this one. Why can't it? Oh yeah, it's the wrong. Sorry, that will work. Yeah, there we go. So I assume that it's the old style submodules. So in 1.8 they have the new style submodules along with the support for .git files. Yeah, that's probably it. And that's as good as it will be for me. I mean, I do hope that they didn't introduce these Git files elsewhere, like in 1.7.5 or something. Let's check it. Git Release notes 1.8. Well, why is it so difficult to get the release notes, man? With a dash, maybe? Maybe not git scm, but just git. That's better. So, git file. Nope. .git. It seems they just change it and don't think that any user will ever want to know what this means or what they did. Or this is not the right file, who knows, but I don't see what's happening here. Anyway, now, do I have LL here? Nope. Good. It's a directory. Awesome. Oops. Yeah, I just went one too far. I can also go out here and build git checkout. Let's get 1.8. Configure this guy. Make J6 install. Make clean. Configure. Try again. No! Make clean. Make configure. Configure. Make install. That should be doing it. Now, do it. There we go. What would be cool if it would kind of remember for which version you have created this configure file. At least if you're on a detached tab, which indicates that you just want to build stuff and you're not really working here. So that could be a future improvement that I could implement myself if I really wanted to have that. But I guess not. I'm fine. So let's go into a bash here. And then go to local install 1.8 and set up our path here. Yep, that was easier the first time I did it when I had shell completion, but that's still good enough. Yeah, I wouldn't even have to be there. Git version, thank you. That shall be fine. Where am I? Where am I? Oh, I'm still in local install. Let's kill the parent 1.8 because I don't know if, I mean that I'm quite positive that this actually called my system's git submodule, so I can't use that. Make the parent 1.8.0 git init submodule add from HTTPS. Thanks. And actually, theoretically, it should also deal with my local path here. Forget it. That's a board. Submodule, because that can initial commit, I know. Git submodule add, it can't handle it apparently. Is there anything? Ah, it has a partial checkout here. So let's try that again. So that should work now. Nope. It's amazing that it, but it uses a file already, I guess. That's good. I think I'm kind of in an intermediate state here. Or maybe I want to remove all this and now honestly, I'm not supposed to have a git ignore file here even. I think it can't really handle this, or it's totally awkward. Let's start fresh and try one more time with that one. Otherwise we just, oh my god, it kind of screwed itself up. Yeah, I think in that regard, at least I tried very hard to make git-python not do that. Like leave an intermediate state, because come on, that was just screwed up now. Anyway, let's check it. It did it, so I guess it's now in git modules, git-python C, and this is a file. All right, so it's 1.8. That just took me like 35 minutes to figure out. That was super quick. Let's leave this info here. Testing revealed that Git 1.8 introduces support for Git files, which is when submodules are using these as well. Maybe it has been introduced just for submodules, huh? I mean, they're kind of the main benefactor here, it seems. Thus, everything below 1.8.0 should still use the old version. The old way of handling submodules. There we go. Good enough. So let's clean everything and get out of here. Good. Next, let's close down a few things here. I guess we don't need them. Let's get back to git-python and have a look at where we would implement this. I think submodule add would be it, but on the other hand, yeah, what I would like to test actually, I would like to have a test that verifies, that makes certain assertions about this module being able to properly handle, or our implementation being able to properly handle submodules, so that we protect ourselves in future or from these kind of errors in future. I mean, we kind of ran into this and people noticed, but not the test suite. Because in the test suite, we just do it ourselves, our style, and so it always kind of works, right? So I'd like to set up submodules using Git itself, and then we read it. And also I want to know how version handling works. Version info, it's cached, that's good. And we can just ask for this using the version info function. Okay, we'll just use this then. But first of all, let's create some submodules and see how we deal with it right now. Test git submodules. And as usual, we do the same thing. We'll create an empty parent and clone ourselves in there. Yeah, exactly, and make a submodule that represents ourselves. Git repo init OS path join, and then parent repository. I don't know if it creates the directory, but let's try. test add empty repos. Submodule. That does work. Okay, so I can remove this here as well. Good. Test git submodules. Fine, so that's our parent. And now we shall use this to add a new submodule. How do we do this? I think like this, add. And then we can pass, yeah, we pass even more arguments, I suppose. Add then the URL that we want to use, in our case a path. Working tree deer. And where to check it out? We check it out to git-python. All right, and this should work. It does, and it takes a while. 0.5 seconds. But hey, that's how it is sometimes. Maybe have a smaller repository, but not really. I could use the gitdb repository, which I will just assume to be checked out. It's the case on Travis at least, so from that point of view we are safe to make that, to build that way. Working tree deer git ext gitdb. That should be faster now. See, I think that does matter. It's like twice as fast. Pretty much so, nearly. So that's good. That's already an improvement. Even though gitdb ext smmap is even smaller. Doesn't make such a big difference though, but it does make a difference. Okay, let's do it like that. Fine. And now I would expect us to be able to traverse this. Assert submodules is 1. All right. Oh no, wait, do we have to commit this? I think so. Yeah, we still don't have a commit here, so let's do this. Parent index commit added submodule. Good enough. And that works. Okay. Let's use our only submodule and do some more testing. Like so. Assert sm exists and sm module exists. All right, that works too. Well, that's good. So we figured that out. I think with the support for Git files, we kind of added support for that, as I mean, for at least reading these repositories or these submodule setups. That's a good thing. But we don't create it ourselves. And this is something we will test right here. I mean, we will probably build these tests up to test even more. Because maybe what do I want to, probably I want to do some write operations on these, move the repository and verify that this really works. Let's just mark it here. Test move and rename, which is kind of the same thing sometimes. Depends. Okay, once again, now we do the same thing, but we set up a submodule ourselves and then use the git command to check it, or to try to use that submodule. And if it doesn't work, we know that we are not compatible to Git anymore for whichever reason. And I think right now this test should fail. Test Git submodule compatibility. So, same thing. parent init. Yeah, it's kind of the same line here. Fair enough. I tried to write smaller tests now, as you can see, at least for now, because this big one here, you know, this has also grown. It wasn't intended to write such a huge thing, but it kind of happened. And still, you know, a good test, I suppose. It's better than not to have it, because it runs so much code. It runs all the code that there is, I suppose. All right, that is initialized. Let's add a submodule ourselves. Create submodule. How is that? Create, there was, yeah. Submodule base, add repo. Well, we don't have to do that. The name of the submodule makes sense. How do you name it here? Just module. So let's call it module here as well. Then the path to it, that's where we want to check it out. Oh yeah, I don't even name it here in the original version. That just gets a default name, I suppose. So here we have a name. Here we have a path to check it out. Let's do a subdirectory setup just to make it a bit more difficult, possibly. I mean, just has to be handled, but it's not that trivial anymore. And URL is that one. Let's do it like that. Just to protect ourselves from silly mistakes and not to duplicate or copy paste so much code here, which is something I do not like at all. Like so. Okay. That should be good. And now I believe you want to see whether Git itself can do it. I don't know. Submodule, if I just say so, I think it should list them. Let's see. git-python itself has submodules and it knows git-db. So I would expect one line to be given here. And if there is a repository without submodules, does it return some error code? No. Can we make it return some error code? Maybe with quiet status. Still 0. Well, then I check for the output, right? If there's no line. I would prefer some sort of exit status based test here, but you know, having no lines shall do it. Split lines. That should be 1 if it detects that, and I would assume this to fail right now. Test git submodule compatibility. Well, forgot to commit. Of course. Oh wait, what's going on? That shouldn't be. Where is that even happening? Now I have to look into this. 637 here. It doesn't like to add a submodule, but I just did this. Test add empty repo. So here's the same thing, is it? Do I reuse parent dir? No. So here you go. Do I reuse empty repo dir? Yes. So that alright, actually I'm testing for this to fail and I'm happy with that failing. But now that I did that, I think it shouldn't fail anymore. What? But I remember that I have like written in gorgeous detail why I think that's okay, and I was concluding that git submodule add doesn't do it itself to add to an empty repository, even though it does it. All right. That is my mistake, but better fix it now than fix it never, I suppose. So here we have a nice localized test that we will use for now. So once this works, the other test will fail, but that's okay. We'll just change it to assume it shouldn't fail anymore. 636. That's all right. Let's see where that happens in add 306. There it wants its own config writer, and to do that it tries to fill a cache and get the parent commit, which fails because there is no, or the current head commit, and this fails because there is no such commit. The question is, how important is the parent commit for him? Why does he do so much to get it? Config parser 197. Yeah, I think that's another bug that we definitely have to fix. Yeah, that's where it gets it. Could it be alright that this parent commit is not set? Is it really so important? Yeah. You want it because we want the tree. And then the bincha of ourselves, basically. This is why we want it? This all? I mean, it's quite important for a submodule to know its SHA, but you know, I think we should handle this somehow. Bincha. Maybe we can initialize this value with something so that it doesn't have to fetch it anymore. Can we do this? Error. 306. Well, we don't care about this. We just want to get a config writer to write our values here. So in this case, we don't need all the other things. We just don't need it. And then we go again. So even if we would fix this, we still try to use the head commit and set ourselves up with that. Yeah, well. So there's lots of work to be done. We can access the index though. And we add ourselves. I think because the submodule is an index object, this works. But all this stuff is kind of bound to fail and I don't trust it. You know what? Let's tackle one thing at a time. I think we should just add something to the repository here. And do I have touch here? No. Parent path working tree here. Let's do this. Let's quickly touch something. And that's it. I do hope it closes the file handle automatically, but you know, let's not risk it. So now it will definitely close it. Not because I say, yeah, well, because I say so. We just have an empty file here. That should be named empty. And I guess we want to keep the path. Path to it in order to add it later. With later, I mean first. So that this actually works. Like so, now it's empty. Now we added empty file, parent index commit, initial commit, can't yet add submodules to empty parent dir. I think, yes, I think that should be fixed. I should probably, I don't know how right now. I should probably make take an issue for that, just to be sure I don't forget about this. Even though I hate to implement this for some reason, something tells me it's gonna be awkward. But on the other hand, it shouldn't be. Okay, I will just try not to forget for now and just keep going here. Keep the momentum up. Make a new commit, then add the submodule, then commit that. Just for the, I mean, that's something we shouldn't have to do, and then we see what Git says. Fine. And Git says it's okay, because apparently Git is compatible to the old style as well. Fair enough. Well, that was, you know, it wasn't really unexpected, but also doesn't help to find these kinds of errors. Then how do we do it? I mean, this test makes nearly no sense, because adding submodules, you know, the stuff that is being tested in many places, especially in this big one here. So I don't really need it. Yeah, well. I think we should still not assume that, you know, there might be a bug, so we kind of mess it up and Git doesn't recognize it. So I guess this is a good test nonetheless. But let's just mark it here as something that probably doesn't fail a lot. Okay, I think that should suffice for a disclaimer, for an explanation on why this is here. I have to turn on the light. It's getting darker. Should play some Katy Perry Friday Night, but I can't because it's probably like it's not probably protected, it is protected by copyrights. So yeah, let's just imagine we play Katy Perry Friday Night and doing some git-python git-python issues. Fine, okay, let's go, let's move on, let's get going. I kind of slowed down here, and I would like to have a test that fails after all, but apparently I can't have that. So I suppose we will have a test that verifies that we can do the 1.8 Git submodule style and that all this works. I would actually like to keep it that way and keep going here, you know? Git submodule compatibility. So basically we will now say if the version info, how does it, is it being returned? I think it parses it. Greater than greater or equal 180, and let's just truncate it just in case. Or let's just say if it's not that, then we skip the test. Or we have a different version of the test that verifies the other thing, but I think that shouldn't be necessary, even though, you know, yeah. The reason why I wouldn't want to have this is that I can't really test this myself now, and I could write code now that, yeah, I can't really test, even though right now I could test it, because submodule add still uses the old way of doing it. Yeah, well, why not? Let's do it. That's for now. That's for now, let's say if true. Okay, so that's the 1.7 and below branch. And here we should just verify that it's a directory that we have checked out there. So let's keep the submodule around and say submodule. What do we say? Module? Is the module the repository then? I think so. Git dir. So that should be a directory. And then I'm already happy basically, because that's really the main thing. And yeah, that's the main thing. There's not much more to it. And in the other case, we want to be sure this is a file. And then we want to verify that the actual module exists at this location that it tells me where it is. But we have to write different code there to make this work. Ha ha ha. Why? Because module will already resolve to the actual Git directory, because it will follow the Git files. It will read them and follow them. So that's not the way to do it here. Actually, this could, you know, if it's not the way to do it here, it's never the right thing, I guess. So let's do it differently right away. Is there, you know, yeah, we just get the working tree directory, and from there we just build the path ourselves. Module repo path is as a module working tree dir. That should always point to the right location. We might want to check for this as well if we have reason for disbelief. And then we shall just add a .git here, and it's either a directory or it's a file. So far so good. And here we move on and test some more. And I'd also assume, and that's something we want to check right here, that module repo path is the parent's working tree dir, and submodules 1, yeah, as empath. As empath plus git. And as I don't want to repeat this, I say it starts with that thing. Okay, so that should all be true now. We should be fine. Working tree. There we go. All right, that's fine. And now we should actually catch an assertion, which is this one, because right now we don't create a file. There we go. So far so good. That was expected. And now we just make this work. But until then, we could also verify. Just have a look at the git-python file, which uses this git dir. All right. So it's relative to ourselves. I think if I would try this, I should see the git-python repository. Yeah, relative to the directory of the file. That's good enough. So we say, yeah, maybe we should use the read, no, find git dir. Find git dir will do the right thing. It's in git repo fun. From git repo fun, import find git dir. Nice. And it just takes the file itself, and it should find a valid git dir. It should return something that is not none. Find git dir module repo path. Thank you. Module point to by git file must be valid. Good. So that's, I think, not too bad. That's already pretty much it. The rest should be fine. And then we have to try all the special stuff like moving repositories around, and just have to verify that whenever we touch our module, that we don't touch it the wrong way, if you know what I mean. So let's try that. That should still fail, by the way. Of course. I like to run tests though, so let's just do it one more time. That reminds me of a song by Britney Spears, like 8 years ago. Do it one more time or something, huh? At least she sang that all the time. Back in the days when I was still young. Good. Let's do it. Let's have a look at git submodule add. Where do we clone this stuff? And oh yeah, that's repo. That's the wrong one altogether. So I suppose that only in add we clone anything. Let's see. That is add. Fine. And that is update. All right, so it's really the module paths. 2 times we do it, clone and update. And here is basically where we define where it should go. And that's a different path now. That's basically it. And then we have to write this git file thingy, which is easy. There's actually I have no problems with that. And then I just want to have a look at the module path down here and how it's generated. Oh yeah, well. So that's I guess the point for a little function here. Definitely so. Do I use my own repository all the time here while doing this? Repo? No, I don't use my own necessarily, so that's just provided. Yeah, I just put it in here so that here we can do all the checking and see what kind of path we want to generate for this. And then, we put in our special cases here, basically. For now, there's no special case though. Working tree deer path, like so. And back here. I do hope that we don't have a duplicate of this. Oh. No, it's the first time, because it's kind of a common thing. I can imagine that I call all kinds of methods like that. Oh, there's no self here. Well, I don't need self. Sorry. And fair enough. Oh. Let's make it a class method then. If you don't access self, then make it a class method. There was, there's no question asked here. And there was a bug in there as well. Good. Do it down there too. Module path. We'll just use this. Oh, here we do have self. So let's do it. Module path. Self repo, self path. Anyway, have to do it like that because we use it in 2 spots. One time it's a class method, one time it's an instance method. So it must be the lowest common denominator, which is the class method. But I'm okay with that. I know calling this is a bit more complex that way, but still. And here we do it one more time. Yeah. Is this a submodule? Yes, it is. Also good to kind of take the logic out of the path generation that is in 3 spots right now and put it into 1 spot. That's much cleaner in any way. And now that we do all this logic there, we definitely need it like that. Definitely so. module path. And I think there's one. Is there one more? Are we good now? They are not good now because that's just a repo that we pass. Yeah. I think we are good now. That should work. And now we just kind of brute force it. And yeah, the thing is, in this case, you know, usually module path needs to be relative, but we return an absolute path here always. And I think we should also flag it like that, because in the Git file that we write later, we want to use a relative path. This is something we have to generate then as well. Should be easy enough to do that, by the way. There are existing methods for this. Still, we have to remind ourselves that this is an absolute path, and I'd rather, I mean, let's see if it's safe to, I think this is safe to rename. Yeah. And I'd rather rename this to something more appropriate, like apps path. Good. So now we know what we are dealing with. And that's the actual repository. That's all right. But what I'd rather like is to have a repository that, well, that's the repository that we will have. That's okay. But the Git file itself, I mean, we just have to write it, I guess. We just have to write it and have to write it right here. Oh, and by the way, first I think we should also implement the special case for 1.8. Okay, here constants are like k and then smaller case. Okay, I'll just stick to it. K new style Git version is 1.8.0. Let's have a utility that we can use is new style submodule, or need new style submodule, or should we call it need git file submodules? Yeah, maybe that. Need git file submodules. And we need a git here, that's for sure, because we need its version. Yeah. So that is git version info greater than or equals. Okay. How did I call it? New style git version. Yeah, you know what? Considering, I mean, let's not exaggerate. I'm not going to, I don't care about this git version here. I don't need it here. Git file. So that's how we do it. Thanks. If I would use it twice or elsewhere, I would definitely want to have this in a constant somewhere, in a pseudo constant, that is. But right now, you know, it doesn't matter. So what else? We do submodule. We call this right away. Need git file submodule. That's kind of the inverse here. Parent git. If not, if we don't need it, then it's a directory, otherwise it's that. So that should still work. And now we can finally use it in our module path here. And we will give it the repo git. So if we need that, this is one thing. If we don't need that, it's the old style, where we just put it in place where the submodule is supposed to be. Otherwise, we put it in the parent repository. Let's call it parent repo, just for myself so that I know what kind of repository this is supposed to be. Even though I'm not totally sure this is always the parent repo right now, but I think it should be. And at least we name it like that. Good. And now it's the and we also, you know, it's a deeper path now. It's Git, then it's modules, then so this modules path might not yet exist. There's also something to watch out for when adding. I think. Well, fine, we will do that. So it's in parent repo git dir, and then it's in modules, and then it's in. Good question. Is it the submodule name? Or is it the path? It's not the path, I think. Let's move up a bit. Good. So it's having, yeah, that's a path here, but in the modules it only uses the name. Oops. Git modules. So that's just the name apparently, and in Git modules it calls it. Oh, interesting. So the name of the thing is, so wait a second, does it use the entire name now or not? I have to look into this more deeply. No, it uses the first token. That is interesting, I didn't expect that. But it's good that it handles this. Kind of, so it takes the name of the submodule, but if it's like, if it's path-like, it will actually just use the first element of the path. Interesting. I didn't expect that. I would have expected, you know, because now it's not unique anymore. What happens if I have a git-python something else? What happens if I have git-python 0.2 on master? Would it then use the same repository or what? That is, okay, I have to look into this because I don't like that right now. I will make a bug report if that's the case. So let's do this. Yeah, I mean, I specify the branch here. I don't know if submodule can do that. I think it can by now. Branch of the repository to add a submodule. The name of the branch is recorded as submodule path branch in Git modules for update remote. Okay, that's awesome. That can do that by now, because I have had to implement this myself back in the days because I needed that. Alrighty. So let's test it. So I specify the branch now. I will just have a little test sm repo. I will use once again the web version. And see how that goes. Git submodule add. So we have branch 0.2 and master, for instance. How does it handle this? Branch name. So let's just not set the name for now, and then later we do set the name. add this and put it to git-python 0.3, and the branch shall be master. Yes, I'm sorry. I knew that kind of, but I didn't fix the mistake when I still had the chance. Well, maybe I should just clone it locally, huh? I mean, that takes a while. I will clone the next one locally. Should be simple enough. Good. Now let's do the same thing again. From here, this time it's 0.1. I think we still have this branch. And this should kind of fail. Cannot update path and switch to branch 0.1 at the same time. Okay. What does it want to tell us? Does it want to tell me that this branch doesn't exist? Wow. Oh, wait. Maybe it does exist. Look at that. 0.2 does exist as well. So did it get, did it get a hiccup because of the modules here? Now it does it correctly. See? It does it correctly. Why didn't it do it correctly? Maybe it's an... Okay, it does it correctly. That's all right. That's what I want to see. So it is the path. After all, sorry, it's the path. It's not the name. I didn't even set the name, even though I think the path is the name if you don't set the name. So let's set the name then, and let's set the name to git-python /master or something. Okay, I don't know why that didn't work. Probably couldn't get a hold of the branch. Maybe I have to specify it like this. Maybe I have to. Let's do this. Origin 01. That did work. And now we do the same thing again with 0.2. But we shall set the name to something else. Git-python with a dash this time and 0.2. Right, like so. Excuse me. Oh yeah, the branch. I totally messed up the branch here. Branch is 0.2 in origin and name shall be git-python 0.2. And that's not how it's done. How could I think that? So let's see what it uses. I think it, yeah, I don't know actually. What's his problem? Can it do it now? It's interesting. That's a bug. Come on, that's just a bug. So that's not my fault. If you do it again, it magically works. All right, let's check the modules file. So that's my name that I gave it. That's the path. Let's see. Would it be a dash or will it be a non-dashed version where it puts the module? I do hope it is. Well, I hope it's a path because, well, even the name has to be unique, so I don't really care. But I still do. I hope it's a path because it would be easier for me. It's the name. It's the name, but it's at least the full name, and it can handle paths that lead up to it. That's a good thing. This also means that I cannot use this one with just that information. Must be the name here. And the name can possibly be one with slashes. That shall be all right. And let's fix up all invocations. All right. Ha ha ha. No, wait, the FP. Oh, I think I did that. That's wrong here. K modules file, that is git modules. Yes. And that's not the same thing. Because previously that was repo working tree dir, and that's, you know, the git modules file is still where it was, so it's working tree dir, and then fp module, which just happens to be the git. Why am I doing this? Come on. Want to make things hard on me? Like so. And the module path does need to be set, or what? Oh. Let's define like 3 variables even though you use just 1. Well, that doesn't get any easier, doesn't it? Submodule config values. Okay, that just wants to have the git modules file. That's all right. So let's go back and have a look at the other invocations. So here we need the name as well, which should be given. Yes, let's just pass it on. Path name. And here it's ourselves who are being updated. And we can just access our own name, can we? Self name. Yeah, that's obviously there. All right. You know, it's kind of slow progress that I'm making, and I wonder, where's my function here? Where's the function definition? Excuse me, didn't it not? Oh, it did not rename this one. So that couldn't have worked. All right, good to know. And now I think, now that we have put the repository at the right spot, oh no, wait. It's clone from, I think that takes care of intermediate directories, so that should be fine. Does it? If not, I will definitely find out. Do we use a, let's use a more complex name. Modules my name then. And the SSM path is also a more complex path now. Like so. Okay. And let's see here. Tries to delete empty path. Okay, that's, and is non-empty. Well, we might want to deal with that during update. Isn't there an open issue with that? Oh. Update. Does already exist and is non-empty. That's already acknowledged, but you know, that's this part here. I don't know what the logic is behind that, but let's just say I do concur, and I don't really know why this would be necessary there. Maybe because we want to clone in it and don't want to reuse existing ones for some reason. Oh wait, you know, if this module fails, and I think this failed previously because it couldn't handle Git files. This is why it wanted to make them, so I guess this could be a non-issue here by now, you know, so it's all right. We're at least willing to remove empty directories in order to make space for git clone, which as well, yeah, I don't know where to write the git file here. Yeah, let's take one by one. I will make a new function that says write git file, and then we can call it as we see fit. And yeah, I'll make it a class method because from an add we don't really have a valid submodule instance yet. So that's how we are going to do it. All right, first this guy. Yeah, let's put the logic here. If self git file something, need git file submodules, and handle git file self write git file. How do we do it? And that's an absolute path. So we want to have the location of the git file, which is repo working tree dir. Let's just give it, you know, the working tree dir, and it will make the respective git file path automatically. And then we want to give it the module that it should link to, which must be in a, well, it doesn't have to be in a parent directory, but we try to make it a relative path, which of course is better if, you know, the paths are related then. So that is that. We will just keep this one around. Why am I all of a sudden inverting this guy? There's no reason. Abs pass. There we go. And there is no self. Sorry for that. Just a moment ago I was talking about it, and now I write self anyway. Well, that's how it is. Good. So let's implement this method, this class method. Write git file working tree dir module abs path. Should we expect an absolute path? For now we should, because we kind of always have it. We don't have to make any special cases here. Should we return anything? No, because kind of everything that we could return as information the caller already has, and true and false doesn't really, you know, isn't really necessary. He will just throw if something goes really wrong. Should we handle existing Git files? No, we'll just abort if it exists, because I wouldn't expect these to exist. This could be an issue if you want to move or rename a submodule, because then we would have to rewrite the Git file too. So let's add a force parameter here that will cause us to override existing files. Good. That should be it. and force, let's call it override existing. Even better. Return nothing. And then I think we could start to document this. Writes a git file containing a relative, preferably relative path to the actual Git module repository. We are kind of in a submodule context, so I guess it's okay to say it's module related, even though we don't really care. So if you wanted to factor this or to move this function somewhere else, like in submodule, do we have something util? We could. And you know what? Because we can, we will. And this thing here, yeah, kind of the same thing, huh? But on the other hand, if I have, why not? Okay, I just keep it here. It makes no sense to keep these methods, class methods, and then all of a sudden kind of move this guy somewhere else just because it's right git file. If we have to refactor this, we will. For now, no need. Keep it close to where it's used. That's my thinking. To the actual Git module repository. Fine. It's no. Well, let's make it an error. It is an error if the module apps path cannot be made into a relative path. Relative to the working tree deer. Working tree deer. Directory to write the git file into. Module apps path. For now we just want it absolute, and we could possibly rewrite it to accept relative path as well, but for now we don't. And we'll even assert for this, because let's not trust this code until we trust the code. Absolute path to the bare repository. Oh, something important just came to my mind. Shit. Gee, we are actually, damn it. We have to do 2 checkouts now. One is the bare one, and then we have to kind of get the checkout to where it belongs. And whoa. So our cloning will have to be revised before we even run this for the first time. Fair enough. So I think what we really want to do is check it out where we want to check it out so that all the working tree stuff is taken care of for us by a clone, and then we move the Git directory somewhere else where we want to move it, and then we will write the Git file. That's how we are going to do it. Awesome. If true, you may overwrite existing files. May rewrite existing Git files. Otherwise, sorry, we throw. Should we throw or should we raise? Same thing, but terminology. We raise. Well, in Java we would throw, I suppose. Good. let's first take care of add and the clone that is involved here. So now we have to totally adjust this, because that's just not going to cut it anymore, unless we want to have a bare repository and then somehow generate a checkout at the right spot. Question is there a way to specify this, like have the repository somewhere else when cloning? That would of course solve our problems. It's worth finding out, I think. Let's use this one. It's worth finding out. Okay. Bare kind of separate git dir. Maybe that. Instead of placing the clone repository where it is supposed to be, place the clone repositories at the specified directory, then make a file system is not agnostic git symbolically. Oh, so it does everything for me. Oh, thank God, I don't need the right git file. It took me time to actually write the docs for function that of a method that I do not need. That's a waste of time. Ah, gee. Okay. Well then. Okay. That returns the module path. So that guy, it's hurting me a bit that I can delete this right away. No, wait. Possibly when we move submodules, we will want to rewrite the git file, so we will keep it. Plus, possibly it will be a different name, like rewrite then, and force will be true by default, or override existing. We will see, but I will keep it for now. I shall keep it. That's a good thing. So let's check this. If we need git file submodules, then we will have to adjust the keyword arguments and make it separate git dir, like so. That should be translated into the right thing. And that's true. Oh no, wait, that's the git dir that we want. So that's the module apps path. And the checkout path will be a different one then. Module checkout path is by default the apps path. All right, that's something we don't need anymore. But if we are in the new kind of mode, then this module apps path will point to something else. And you know, we might want to we have to see how often we really need this. I don't know if update really needs this. And because that's a bit unclear that this module apps path is the kind of the separate git dir that we really want. Whereas now the checkout path has to be the repo working tree dir plus git. No, sorry, actually not. You know, it's just the repo working tree. No, it's you know, we want to check it out, add the path here. So it's this one. You know, that's a relative path guaranteed, and we want to put it into the working tree dir, or into the working tree of our existing parent repository. So that is what we would want. And that should also automatically do it the right way. That would be easy if that would work. And possibly that does already work. We have a failing test. Need git files submodules. Oh yeah, it needs git. Sorry. Repo git. And that's it. Excuse me. Why does the test? Oh, the test loudly fail, and I kind of was confused here because usually you see all these errors kind of, yeah, I don't know. I was just confused for a moment. Let's just clear out everything and try again. It will still be a failure, obviously. But, yeah, I might better understand what's going on. Git separate git dir. Okay, so the command fails. That's all right. Could not switch to parent git modules my modules, and it's supposed to put it to separate git dir modules my name. All right, should I create it for you? I can. I will. I think I have to create it for him. Good enough. Make dirs. How is that called again? Let's quickly look it up. Make dirs. OS make dirs. Yeah, that's the one that creates intermediate parent repositories. Works like make dir. Yeah, it shouldn't throw if it does not. If it does already exist. Oh wait, target directory with the same name made as we specified already exists. Raises OS error. Exists. Okay. Should be true. Is that already available in Python 2? I wouldn't think so. Whereas make dirs, but let's check. Let's hope for it. See, something they added, probably just to be a bit more make dir-p compatible, which makes sense. You know, most users would probably want to have exists okay equals true by default. But on the other hand, if you come from systems programming, then you usually, want to fail if the state that the user expects is not the one that you find. So if the user says, make a directory, then it's assumed that he wants to make a directory because he thinks the directory does not exist. But if it does exist, then the thinking of the user has kind of a bug in his code because obviously the directory already exists. Whereas I keep thinking that nice APIs usually think like that. A user wants, as a result, that this directory is there. I don't care how it's getting there, but I want it there. This is why I make the call. And nothing else is of my interest. And, this is kind of a different thinking. I see both worlds, but I usually implement my stuff that, if somebody says, well, touch a file there, the file already exists, then it's fine. Then the end result is the same. The file is there. Anyway, long story short, well, that's not a long story, just I'm digressing for no reason, but it's interesting to see. And, I can't blame them for this. So if not, I think one directory it can create, but it can deal with empty folders, so we can create the entire thing. If not, OS path is dir module apps path, then please create it. OS make dir, super make dirs, super make dir. Apps path, do it. So that should be safe. And now this might still fail, but on a different spot. All right, still fails. Oh, really? Oh, come on. I thought you can do it. I mean, you should test if it's empty, right? It's empty, man. It's fine, you can use it. And that's something I don't, that's silly, that's just silly. Already exists, I can't use it, no way. It's empty. Still not, it's not mine, I have to create it myself. Yes, Git, you will get to create it yourself. Fine. Yeah. Module apps path dir. Fine. This saves complexity, right? I define a new variable here, which adds a line, but then I can kind of keep this logic simple because I don't have to get the dir name like 2 times there. So that's usually what, how I operate. That's my thinking. If you do something, some logic on something, some data more than once, save it in a variable. Good. Um, 652. Module repo path. Let's see why that is not the case anymore, because I think it should indeed always be the case. Maybe I'm messing this up. Submodules 1. Didn't I change this? That's the name as empath. Oh, really? Oh, that was a bug. That was just a bug, my own fault. So that could work now. Yes! Woohoo! Awesome. See? Now we can handle and create these kinds of submodules. At least create, Next thing is move and stuff. I think as an intermediate result, I could indeed commit that, and I will, and then take a little break and be back on that particular issue. So let's do that. First of all, well, I think Flake I run at the end, possibly. No, let's run it now. Let's keep Travis happy. Okay. Tox flag 8. There we go. And just a few things. Astonishingly few things. Base 209. Trading white space. Test submodule 647. Trading white space. Blank line at end of file. Sorry. And that shall be fine now. Awesome. Not much more change, but let's run the